My dog won't stop. My dog won't stop. But when Chaseray gives him the big Stetson, hello to the unfortunate viewer that clicked onto this video. If you've never seen my channel before, which you probably haven't, this is the first video I've posted in years, and I used to post music content and then a few class projects, but if you know me, I'm autistic, and I'm autistically obsessed with a lot of stuff. And right now, for the past 2 years, it has been BigTop Burger. What is BigTop Burger, you ask? Well, if you're unfamiliar with BigTop Burger, and if you are, I don't know why you clicked on this video, but you know what, welcome. It's a fantastic series. I believe they're working on a season 3. I don't know if the episode that came out was part of season 3, or if that was like a special type thing, but it was very good. It was very good. A new episode just came out recently, which is why, because there was a lot of lore in it, and I'm obsessed. Yeah. So, what is BigTop Burger? Follow Steve. Follow Steve. This clown. And before you ask, he's not a person in clown makeup. He is, by species, a clown. Yes. Now, I will be explaining this out of order with what the episodes tell you. But get over it. I don't know. Steve, he is a clown. By species. I don't know how to explain that. I don't need to explain that. He's a clown, right? Steve is from the Clown Planet. I don't know what the Clown Planet is called. I had printed out a picture of them, but it's very small. Little Clown Planet. You see how it's full of clown stuff? Clown Planet. Now, Clown Planet was created, like 9 billion years ago? And this ever so many billion years ago, when the Clown Planet was, erected, when the Clown Planet was made, it was made by this really old guy who we don't get a name for. We don't get a name for a lot of people!
Hello, I am editing. We do get a statue of him, though. Here it is.
We don't get anything explained ever. But from what I've gathered, when this clown man created the Clown Planet, I don't know if he made the Clown Planet, but in my opinion, he made the Clown Planet, right? When he made this planet, he made it revolve around joy, and around moments of pure joy and laughter. And also wrote Cats the Musical. So, in this universe, Cats the Musical predates humanity, right? And I've never personally seen Cats the Musical. I've also never seen the movie, which, don't think about the movie when I'm talking. Don't think about the movie. This has nothing to do with the movie. Don't think about the movie, alright? The musical? Now. So, I have a weird relationship with musicals where, like, I have a lot of respect for them. Yeah. But, like, also objectively identify when they're stupid as hell. And while Cats is objectively stupid as hell, it also does have a good plot down there. Once again, I haven't seen Cats. My sister did, and she explained the lore to me. But, like, deep down beyond the cat costumes, Cats is a good musical, right? And Steve, let me see if I can, oh no. Now Steve, back when he was on Clown Planet, played Old Deuteronomy, who I can only assume is the main character. Haven't seen the musical. Won't see the musical. Scream. When he went to play Old Deuteronomy on opening night, He froze. The pressure of all the other cats, it got to him. They were all creeping around him in this mirror with their eyes shining. It was a very scary scene for him. Steve had been learning and practicing his entire life to play Old Deuteronomy, but he froze, and he was cast out for it. Turns out, this entire planet that runs on joy, the center of this spiral of joy is Cats the Musical. Once again, I've never seen Cats. I know a lot of people love it. Most of them aren't in my generation. And you know, I don't know if a lot of the enjoyment for it is nostalgia-based or what, but like, Cats? But then, Steve, when he freezes up playing Old Deuteronomy on the opening night of Cats the Musical, he freezes up, and they cast him out of the planet for it. They shoot him out of a cannon for all to watch. For his mother to watch, for everyone in his family to watch, for the people that he had fought with in battles to watch him be cast out across the stars in a cannon. In a cannon. I don't know much about clown biology. They don't explain it. He survives this. Clowns seem to be kind of immortal. And like past cartoon logic. Like, so when Steve is cast out and shot from a cannon, he lands on Earth. But from, you know, just the terminal velocity or whatever of he being turned into a comet, he's the meteor that killed the dinosaurs. So, like, Steve is canonically, you know, shooting through space, whatever, he got some rocks on him. He became the meteor that destroyed the dinosaurs. So, sucks, buddy. God, he didn't do it willingly. Just decided to kill him. Steve killed the dinosaurs. Yeah, I don't know if that would be considered a crime, but a certain character I can't see where it is, a certain character we will be talking about in a minute seems to consider it a crime. And so when Steve is flown through space, becoming a meteor, hitting Earth, killing the dinosaurs, he gets knocked out a little bit, because like, he was a meteor, he hit a planet, he's gonna be knocked out a little bit. But he was also asleep for a couple 100,000 years, million, however long it was from the meteor hitting Earth to like 2022, 3, I don't remember when this franchise came out, 22 or 23. So he was asleep for a long time, and he may have killed the dinosaurs, and like, he wasn't aware of that. Because he's a fucking meteor. He was passed out. Probably wasn't doing it on purpose. And so he becomes a meteor, and then he wakes up one day, and for some reason, starts a food truck. Okay. I mean, if your entire world spins around moments of joy. Stay with me here. Stay with me. Hold my hand. Stay with me. Alright? If your entire world spins around moments of joy, therefore, your entire mission as a species kind of would be to bring moments of joy? Keep going with me here. Come on. That would, I suppose, in turn make his mission, now that he's found himself on this planet, you know, he's been cast out from his species, he can't go back. So I guess he starts a new life here, and I guess his mission is to bring joy to people through a food truck. But Steve's food truck is not a general experience food truck. Steve's food truck is themed. Now, a themed food truck, that's a moment of joy. That's a moment of joy. That's something that can make anybody happy. You just driving down the street and you see a burger truck that looks like a clown cart. That's fantastic. Alright, that's fantastic. And you know, clowns may be a little bit outdated. It's beside the point. In this food truck, he employs Billy, Penny, and Tim. He does not refer to anyone by their name, but Billy! And he says it like that. He calls Penny little boy, and then I think he also calls Tim little boy. Steve's a character and I love him. And through this food truck, you know, it's themed. This world seems to really like food trucks. It seems to be like a pivotal thing. Because I think season 2 mainly revolves around a food truck competition. Not a food truck competition, a food truck convention. At this convention, we see Zomburger, which is all these guys. Zomburger is owned by Cesare, this freaky little guy up here. He's a little freak and I love him. He's such a freak, and if you know What We Do in the Shadows, he kind of talks like Matthew Barry. Is it Matthew Barry or Perry? I always get it confused. I don't know. But he talks like Laszlo, you know, where he like accentuates the random vowels. It's very pleasant to me. It switches my brain in such a fantastic little way, right? But at this food truck competition, as well as on the way to food truck competition, we see Cesare and the employees of Zomburger, BigTop Burger's rival food truck. And Zomburger, if you couldn't guess by the name, is a spooky little Halloween-themed food truck. And Cesare's main thing, for the food truck at least, is bad food. Because he thinks people go there for the aesthetic, the vibes, which is very much part of it. But he thinks the worse the food is, like the more inedible this food is, the more aesthetic it would then be. I don't understand. But he doesn't need to be explained. I'm moving the board. He doesn't need to be explained. It's okay. Also, this isn't like a corkboard or anything. This is just a painting that I flipped around. That's on this weird like foam core material I got from my dad. Show the painting. Pretty cool painting. In the end of the first season to beginning of the second season, we meet Zomburger, the rival food truck, owned by Cesare. He and Steve, this weird sort of like thing going. I wouldn't necessarily say a sexual tension, because I firmly believe Steve does not fuck. His species, asexually reproduces, that's what it is. I firmly believe that Steve's species asexually reproduces. They do not have genitals. I believe this. I don't know this to be true, but I believe it to be true. Anyways, Cesare! I keep trying to gesture with the mic. I really need to attach to something, but I couldn't figure out what. I used to attach it to water bottles. I don't drink water. I need to figure out what to attach it to. But anyways, Cesare, the owner of Zomburger, the rival food truck, he employs a doctor. His name's actually Alan. Francis, that's her actual name. And Conrad. They all have little costumes, right? Because it's like Halloween, right? They have little costumes. They're all just clowns over here. They all just got clown makeup. The picture of Tim I have, he doesn't have clown makeup. But they all wear clown makeup for their gigs. For Zomburger. For the Zomba Burger. For Cesare. He also just looks like that, much like Steve. But the doctor, he doesn't look like that. His name's Alan. He's dressed as a doctor zombie, if you couldn't tell by his name. Francis is dressed as an art student zombie. And then Conrad, who mans the cannon, that's specifically his job. He mans the cannon. Zomburger has a cannon, also actively, frequently, tries to kill Steve and the rest of BigTop Burger. They think it's just kind of part of the bit. They also think it's kind of just part of the bit. They know it's not part of the bit, but they don't tell that to anyone else. So those two, well, Steve's not trying to kill anyone. Steve's just trying to chill. But like, Cesare is actively trying to kill Steve violently. Remember the cannon. I'm back. I had to leave because my dog's old man best friend, who is also my neighbor, came over. Where was I? So Cesare and Steve are actively trying to kill each other. But like, they never tell anyone about that. It's a little homoerotic, but once again, Steve does not fuck, right? And so, in season 2, there's 2 seasons. all the episodes are probably like 11 minutes. It takes like 2 hours to watch the whole thing. It's a really good show. You can watch the whole thing in one sitting. I've done it several times. BigTop Burger, Zomburger, they meet outside of the food truck convention. But so when they meet, they go ah ha ha ah ha ha. But then all of the like employees are just kind of like, hey, so why are we trying to kill each other? Because Chaser is like also freaking out because it's his first time at a food truck convention, which also this is what leads me to believe food trucks are a big thing in this world because he's super nervous about it. And also there seems to be a lot of food trucks at this convention. Most of them don't seem to be selling food. There's one that has guitars, but there's like, this is like a convention, like proper, like it's outside, but it's like a proper convention, like they're going to panels and shit about food trucks. This seems to be a big thing here, because he's super nervous, and he's like, I'm a convention version around here, I don't know what I'm doing. He says that, because Chase Ray makes a comment later in the show that says that he was on Earth looking for Steve for about a year, so I think that's about how long he's had his food truck. Steve, we're gonna get to that in the conspiracy section, right? So Chaser has only been chasing him for about a year. And so they meet at this food truck convention and they're like, aha, aha. But then they're like, wait, let's just chill. This is like common ground. This is like common ground, you know? And Chaser and Steve are all like, But then all these guys, they're getting along super, super well. They're talking about their jobs. They're revealing that these are costumes. They're revealing that these are costumes because that was never actually said. And then they make comments about how they've never seen Steve without the clown makeup on. That's because he's a clown, baby. By blood, he is a biological, physical clown. Baby, he was born that way. And so these guys are talking about their little costumes. And then Chase Ray is like, stop. You're gonna get me caught. People are gonna realize if you guys don't look just as weird as I do, then I'm gonna stick out like a sore thumb. And he's like freaking out about it because I love him. He's so dramatic. I love him. He's the goofiest little goofball. I love him. And he's like freaking out about it. And then he makes allusions to himself being a zombie. Then at this convention, when they're all looking around at these booths, they're going to different seminars on stuff. There's also this weird food truck person mascot suit that made me very uncomfortable to look at. I don't know why. I love mascot horror. He freaked me out though. Hit the computer. He freaked me out though. I don't know why. While they're there, Chase Ray keeps giving Steve his little presents. And Steve's just like, oh, why? Why? Because, you know, they're enemies. They're trying to kill each other. Chase Ray's not trying to kill him. And then the employees are like, oh, he's finally trying to make amends, Steve. You gotta take it. You gotta take it. And they're really pressuring my little baby boy Steve into the thing. He doesn't want to go. First, Chaser gives him a little lunchbox. And he's like, what? Chaser's like, to store your burgers. Of course, every burger salesman knows this, for your burgers. And Steve's like, yes, I burger salesman, I know, yes. But then later, much, much later, he gives him a backpack. And Steve's like, I already have the lunchbox. And Chaser's like, for your burgers, to carry your burgers for more burgers. A burger man can never have too much burger storage, you know that. And Steve's just like, I burger man, I know this. And everyone else is like cheering him on, like, oh, Steve, that's a really nice backpack. That's a really nice lunchbox. Like, you should be so glad you're getting that. But Steve, you know something's wrong. He's been weighed down by more weight than just burgers, because he is a burger salesman. He knows what they feel like, and this backpack and this lunchbox are way too heavy for burgers. And then Chase suddenly gives him the big Stetson. There's a really big cowboy hat, but the way they emphasize the big Stetson gets me in ways I cannot describe. It is so funny. This show is so funny. I'm glossing over most of the plot here, right? Because I want to get to my little conspiracies about this show, but it's really good. Like, it's one of those shows that just keeps you, like, paying attention. It's not one of those shows that you, like, watch in the background. It's one of those shows you pay attention. Because every frame, something funny is happening. It is a very, like, animation quirk type funny. My dog won't stop. My dog won't stop. But when Chaser gives him the big Stetson, he can't even move. He's stuck. He's literally falling into the ground. He's so heavy. And Chaseray's like, I finally got you. And he pulls out this giant hammer from this little tube thingy in a really cool sequence that I highly advise you to go watch. Go watch it right now. Do it. Do it now. And he hits him with this big old hammer. And then Steve is transported to hell? That's the end of season 1. Boopity boop bop. I meant to say season 2, but I'm gonna keep that in because I personally think it's funny. I don't care, right? But that's not the end of the content. Because I must explain further, right? This is my little conspiracy theory section of the video, right? Because while that may be all of the content we get surrounding the show, a brief synopsis of basically. You know, not going over like the more one-off plots from like the first season and some of the other episodes. This is my dog. Her name is Pickles. She's a little bastard and I love her. So now Steve's in hell, right? But who else is in hell with him? Well, the entities, of course. Why are they in hell? We'll get there. But the entities that we see with... I need to go over the entities we see with Steve down here. These jail cells, weirdly enough, they're like sort of rocky jail cells. Odd. But the entities we see here, we got some, you know, famous cryptids, you know, kind of like weird entities you would assume someone like Chaseray may be catching if he was hired by someone. We'll get there. But we got Mothman. Alright, we got Dracula. Sure. Bigfoot. Flatwoods. I don't know who that is. And then Santa. Okay. The Roswell alien. Alright. And then personal favorite, D.B. Cooper. And that's why the FBI couldn't find him. Chaseray got him first. Chaseray got him first, so the FBI couldn't find him. This one is my favorite. I don't know why, but D.B. Cooper being there in a hell jail cell instead of being in federal prison is my favorite. Because that's such a funny thing to add. Because, like, Mothman, Dracula, Bigfoots, the Roswell alien, those are funny. Those make sense. Santa, that's funny. That makes sense. D.B. Cooper, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. When kids, I love it. Pause for a second. I would like to talk about the creator of this show, Worthy Kids. Dude, I love your content so much. I love your shows. I love your music. Everything you make. Phenomenal. You should go listen to this guy's music. It's really good music. Specifically, the Shrek fan album that's been posted to their YouTube channel since like 2016 is really good. I unironically listen to that thing all the time. It's really good, okay? It's really good. That little moment over. I watch a lot of weird stuff on the internet. I have a lot of weird interests, as you can tell with my conspiracy board. But who's hiring Chaseray to get these entities? Well, that's Caligari. Who was that? I don't actually know, right? So Caligari's like Emporium, is it a new name or something? I don't know. I don't care. In my humble opinion, whereas I have almost no facts whatsoever. This guy, he's sort of like made out of hands. He's kind of like Man at a Hands with a top hat, and then he's got this glowing blue like thing in the center. I think that he is some sort of entity, much like the great clown of which there was a statue on Clown Planet that created Cats the Musical. I think he is much the same, an entity that creates mystery, right? Because all of these things, no one can find them. No one can prove that they're real, but no one can prove they aren't real, right? I think that this man perpetrates mystery for some reason, the same way the clowns perpetrate joy. You know? He runs on mystery, they run on joy. Hellos. I could be going nowhere, I could be going everywhere with this. Who knows? Now, the secretary of this Caligari is LDG. I don't know what that stands for. I don't know if it was ever said. I specifically love them. Tumblr loves them a little bit too much. I'm so sorry. For the longest time, for some reason, because like they're in a bunch of the outros, I for some reason thought that they were like the self-insert drawing of like the creator. I don't know why. Listen, I don't know why I thought this. I think because I thought that they had similar hair. I don't know where I got that from. Genuinely, I'd be making shit up. I don't know, man. Right? So LDG, the secretary, the Caligari, they're the one that gives Chaseaway all the little assignments and instructions and does the paperwork for all these entities that presumably have been captured by Chaseaway specifically. So Caligari employs LDG. I always want to say LDJ or RDJ for some reason. I don't know why. But LDG, they're the secretary to Caligari. They're giving all the assignments to Chaseaway. Chaseaway is what is referred to as a watcher. Would this be the infamous the Watcher from like urban lore? I don't know. That's a little connection I noticed when I was maybe smoking the pot, watching the video. Doesn't matter. The Caligari, he employs Chaseaway, and he was supposed to only be employed for 1,000 years. That's a lot of years. So Chaseaway has presumably been in this form for like 1,000 years? We learned this right at the end of season 2. But Venenzia, a new episode to come out, which I hope is the start of season 3, but I don't know, it could just be a little special because it's Chaseaway lore, and we had a special with Steve lore at the end of season 1, so it could just be like that for Chaseaway, I don't know. In this Chaseaway lore video called Venenzia, we learn that Chaseaway, I'm just gonna flip him, used to be human. You can hardly see him. I'll put him on screen. He looked real goofy. Listen, it's like the 11th century Italy. They all look that goofy, right? But he is a marionette salesman in 11th century Italy who inexplicably speaks modern day English, while every other character in like this, when he is like this, is speaking Italian. He's speaking modern day English for some reason. And I love it. And for that reason, I did not read, or I did not watch the episode with subtitles, so I wouldn't know what they were saying. I was just listening to the video. It's very fun to watch it that way. Then I have to go back and listen to what they're saying. And turns out, Chaseaway, when he was a human, and his lonely little marionette stand, which, by the way, you could tell wasn't doing good. Geppetto, marionette salesman, an entrepreneur, and big tough guy. Instead of being the warmly little moving, but Geppetto, instead of being the warm, nice old man that makes Pinocchio, he's a business shark. He puts a hit on Chaseaway to get rid of his poor little marionette stand, to wipe out any opportunity of competition in his marionette businesses, because Geppetto's store is all big and glamorous, and Chaseaway only has this tiny little perk. And so he puts a hit out to kill him to this guy called Garzone. To kill him? Just because he wants to sell his little marionettes? Kill my guy? My flamboyant little guy? Just because he wants to sell marionettes? You want to kill my guy? Fuck you, Geppetto. I hope you're in super hell too. So that's how Chase presumably dies. Big lore on his part. But Caligari, the big boss, we learn in this very same episode that, well, okay, we don't exactly learn, but I presume that after Cesare died, by Geppetto means when he was taken out, he was sort of like given a deal? Yeah, some shaking hands with Satan type thing. He was given a deal that he would be a watcher for 1,000 years for Caligari, and he would catch all these weird things to perpetrate mystery, and after 1,000 years he would be let go, presumably keeping all of the like immortality and abilities that he gained, and just like die or whatever. That's what I assume happened, because after flashing back to the future, after this Cesare catches Steve, he goes, my 1,000 years is baby, and he marches on into Caligari's office, and he's like, my 1,000 years is let me out. And Caligari's like, what? Let you out? I actually just decided you're gonna work for me another 1,000 years. And Chaser is just kind of like, what? Okay, because he seems very scared of Caligari, right? And this guy's not scared of nothing, but he's terrified of this guy, right? He wasn't even scared of Garzone or Geppetto. He was just like, but he's scared of Caligari, which means that this man must have very big power. Very big power. And Chaser is just kind of like, And so he goes to LDG, and he's like, what do the other watchers circle? And she's like, why don't you ask them yourselves? And then she opens up all these little things behind her, and there's just like case after case of watchers being like, I have been in service many years, but I will be free soon. Thousands of them, and they all look ancient and decrepit, and like they look like Cesare, but like billions of years older and like decrepit and like turning to dust. And he's just kind of like, okay. What? What? And right now that's kind of all of the information we have. That's where the episode ends. But now I'm gonna theorize a bit more, because there was a music video type thing kind of released about Steve, where he does look very different. But I'm gonna go ahead and chalk that up to artistic interpretation. Okay. I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you this. In this music video, he does look like a Tumblr sexy man. Like, he is drawn, like, he has like a muscular body. Like, he looks like a Call of Duty clown, essentially, right? And like, hey, worthy kids, why'd you do that? Hey, why'd you make him look like that? Because I've seen Tumblr. I'm on Tumblr actively for this fandom. And I wish you didn't do that. Because now I have to look at people's fan art of it. Hey man, why'd you have to do that? It's a very good music. Like, besides that, it's a very good video. I highly suggest you go watch all of this. But why'd you have to draw in sex? Why'd you do that? Right? In this video, we learned that Steve was at some unspecified point part of this sort of like SWAT team that went to like rescue this person, and it was really cool, like action sequence type thing, right? But what I learned from this was like Steve has like deep emotions and also presumably military grade fighting skills. Okay. What? Why didn't he use those against Cesare? Why? Because he knew he did something wrong? Because when Steve is captured, he's asking Cesare, like, what? What's happening? And Cesare is kind of like mocking him, and he's like, ooh, You took out the dinosaurs, buddy. That's a big one. And Steve just kind of like, what are you talking about? And Chaser is like, you were down there for like 1,000 years, buddy. Big old meteor struck the earth, and Steve's like, back on Broadway again. Which is where he flashes back and we learn about this whole, like, planet of clowns, Clown Planet, and then Cats the Musical, and then how he failed at being Cats the Musical, and it's all very sad. Steve's backstory. And then with the music video is important. I'm not just complaining, the music video is important. Because right before he gets shot out into that canyon, he looks into the audience, he makes eye contact with what I'm assuming is his friend that he fought in battle with. And the eye contact, he's just like, very emotional moment. Steve, why do you have emotions? That makes me sad. Steve, you shouldn't be feeling pain. No, never. No, never. Don't feel pain. You're my little guy. You know? I wanna put him in my hamster's cage. I wanna put him in my hamster cage. And he's like, let's get on the wheel, you know? Now here's going on to, like, more of my batch theories, right? So going back to Steve and his BigTop burger food truck. If you are a weird little nerdy kid like me who has very old parents, I don't say that to be mean, I am genuine. My dad is 63 and I am 19. Those are old parents. Don't even start comparing in the comments. I don't care. Right? One of my all-time favorite movies is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Now you may be asking, what does this have to do with BigTop Burger? Everything! Because BigTop Burger, this food truck, I'm probably bopping too loud. This food truck is named after the restaurant in the movie Killer Clowns from Outer Space. In the movie Killer Clowns from Outer Space, we see a restaurant where the clowns go and attack, and it is called BigTop Burger. It is a burger restaurant where all the employees are dressed like clowns, and it's clown burger themed. Is that not the same clown burger theme of BigTop Burger's food truck? Do you think maybe this food truck has existed for more than a year? This is when I take a movie made in the 80s and connect it to a show made in like 2022 to 3. This is when I connect an 80s movie to an animated show on YouTube, right? So I believe the reason that Chaser is going after Steve is because of a legend that Steve accidentally created, sort of like an urban legend, right? Because the rest of the entities that are being gathered in Caligari's little, thingy, they're other urban legend type creatures. D.B. Cooper, arguably, they get an urban legend because people have given him like superpowers and shit in their little conspiracies. Me too. Like, yeah, I'd be doing that too, right? I would argue that these are all urban legends, and Steve himself may have become an urban legend. I believe, in this universe, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the movie, is based on a true story. It is based on when Steve woke up, maybe sometime before the 80s, for it to turn enough into an urban legend, and I don't think Steve killed anybody. I don't think Steve killed nobody. I think he opened a burger joint. I think Steve opened a burger joint. And one night, someone got a little suspicious. And they were like, hey Steve, I've never seen you without the little costume you got going on there. Yeah, I'm a little curious, you got that little costume, I've never seen you without that. And then they get a little more suspicious. And then the town gets really suspicious, right? And then the legend grows and grows, and then Steve's like, I gotta get out of here. And so he makes a little food truck and he gets out of there. But I believe that the legend that Steve created by opening up his little burger joint in that small town snowballed into the urban legend they created, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the movie. And I think that somewhere along the way, it was the 80s, it was the prime time of slashers, and they put a little gore into it. They embellished the story a little to a lot of it, to the point where when Cesare heard wind of it, he thought that Steve had committed these atrocities genuinely. Because when talking about these urban legends, none of these actually... Okay, well, most of these entities don't hurt people. If anything, Mothman is a harbinger. He's there to warn you. Bigfoot, I don't think Bigfoot's... If you know someone that claims to be attacked by Bigfoot, I think they just got attacked by a bear and were too scared to admit it because they, like, said they could beat a bear and, like, they can't, right? Santa, objectively, is a good guy. Like, he sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake, yes. However, I believe this is because he works with the Sandman and can see when you're sleeping because he knows because he works through the sand, right? That's so beside the point. Santa's objectively a nice guy. He never did nothing wrong. Roswell Alien, I also don't think did anything wrong. I think Caligari just likes the mystery. But I don't think Cesare knows that. I think Caligari is likely telling him that these entities are bad, that they are causing that Mothman is causing this calamity well, Dracula's just a bad guy. Flatwoods, I don't know anything about them. I don't know nothing. But like, if Bigfoot's attacking people, Santa's a stalker, D.B. Cooper did rob a bank, that did happen. Or steal a plane, or whatever he did, I don't know. I haven't watched Wendigoon's video on that in a hot minute. But I believe that Caligari is telling Cesare that these are in fact dangerous people, which is why he's going after Steve the Clown. Let's be so real, Steve's never done anything wrong. The worst thing he's done was hit a jewel and it did horrible things to his mind and body. And I don't think that's his fault. That being said, Cesare is starting to notice the cracks in the story that he's been told. Steve never fought back. I doubt Santa fought back, or Bigfoot, or Mothman, or the Roswell Alien. D.B. Cooper was probably just like, what you doing? Huh? You know? I think Cesare is starting to see the cracks in this organization. He's starting to wonder, am I doing the right thing? Do I want to do the right thing? Is what I'm doing not what I want to do? Blah, 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 blah. But yada, yada, yada. Emotions, thematic parallel, blah, 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 blah. I think next season, season 3, Cesare is gonna break Steve out of prison. They're gonna come back with these guys. And they're gonna do something about Mr. Caligari here. They're gonna figure his deal out. And I think, much like the Wizard of Oz, there will be a smaller entity behind Mr. Caligari. Because in the Clown Planet, as much as it revolves around joy, it is not a singular entity, right? It is a group working towards a cause, a species, in their case, working towards a cause. I think Caligari could be something of the sort, where it could be a group of people working towards this cause, you know, this sort of creation of mystery, or it could just be one freaking guy behind there controlling it and being a victim like that face at it. You know, I don't know what's gonna happen. Anything could happen. But overall, I think that this show is amazing. I think it is phenomenal. Worthy Kids, I love you. Platonically. I think your music is phenomenal. I would also like to add, the person that animates this does all the music for it, and it's really good, and it has like different outros and intros, and like in a couple, I said like there's like a music video one, I think there's a few music video ones. It's really good. You should all go watch it. I think I mentioned this earlier, I don't know if I did, but it only takes like 2 hours to watch the whole thing. It's a short little YouTube series. I have in fact forced most of my friends to watch it, but it's very good. You should go watch it. Please, it's really good. That being said, if you watched this whole video, thank you. I have a deep urge in me to make video essays. I don't know if it's just because I consume so many video essays that I'm just like, I could talk about a single topic for an extended period of time. Sure, I do it all the time to my boyfriend, and I think he's getting a little tired, so instead I did it a lot to you. I did it to you about this. I don't know how long this video is going to take to post or if it's ever going to post, but thank you for listening to my autistic ramblings.